Salutations, mortals and children of the night. I'm the Vampire Otaku. Let's keep it moving with more romance mangas. The entire month is going to be dedicated towards romance. It's not just Valentine's Day, it's every single day. Enjoy romance, enjoy all the lovey-dovey stuff, chocolates, flowers, all that good stuff. Enjoy it for the whole entire month. It's Black History Month too. Can't let y'all forget that. With that being said, let's get into the video. Alright, so last video we talked about the manga Mysterious Girlfriend X. In this video, I want to talk about Maison Ikkoku by Rumiko Takahashi. This manga originally ran from 1980 all the way until 1987. Surprisingly, it holds up so well. I believe it's ahead of its time. It's really funny. It's really sweet. It's really romantic. And it left me just annoyed and angry. All the miscommunications, all of the crazy situations that the main character Godai found himself in, how difficult it was for him to get close enough to the manager, that's who he wanted to be with, how difficult it was for him to be able to get close enough to her, and all the rings he had to jump through, all the hoops he had to jump through to make that happen. If you don't want spoilers, my apologies, maybe this isn't the video for you. If you are thinking of getting into some romances this month or just in general, add this one to your list. It's really good. I have the collector's editions of the mangas. They're really beautiful. They're still paperbacks, but the paperbacks have like a nice texture, almost like a tweed kind of texture. So I'll show you each of the covers. It's that material I'm talking about. You can see it in the letters a little bit, just a texture to it. There are 10 of these in total. Apologies for the glare. And they're like 2-in-1s, really high quality. Viz Media knocked it out of the park with these. I love the watercolor style art that go on each cover. The back of each are about the same, and the spines are as well. This is a signature Viz. And these are signature Viz series. Goodnight Poon Poon has this style, and Monster as well. All right, let's talk about this story. For those of you who don't mind getting a few parts spoiled, I'll try to keep it to a minimum because I really want to spread some awareness and just show some love to this iconic classic rom-com. It's truly a romantic comedy. It's romantic and it's so funny. Let's get into it. All right, so Godai is our main character. He's a Ronin, which basically means someone who's a wanderer. He is a college student and he is trying to graduate and get himself a decent office job. He lives in an apartment building called Maison Ikkoku. So that's the name of the manga. It's basically named after the apartment building. It's really beat up, pretty cheap rent, and the apartment itself is almost a character in the story because how beat up it is, and the tenants that live there, they're all nosy, just insane people. They truly make the story funny. The main character is funny, but a little pathetic at times. He just has an issue saying no and letting people walk all over him. But he's really sweet and he's really kind and endearing. So he's a likable character that gets himself into unlikable situations, which is really interesting for a main character. In the first chapter, the guy is like, I'm moving out of here. This place sucks. There's holes in the walls. The roof is leaking. There's just so many issues in this building. I could do better. And as he's leaving, he realizes that the new manager for the apartment is starting to work there, and she's super pretty. So he's like, never mind, I'll be living here again. I'm really happy to live here. So he decides to not move out, and he's trying to talk to her, and she's not taking him seriously because he's a little bit younger than she is. I think at the time she was like 25 and he's like 21. So it's cool. This is more of an adult romance, which I love. A lot of romances in the manga category tend to be high schoolers, which I'm tired of. And it's just, it doesn't really mesh well with me personally. I do enjoy the stories, but I like stuff like Wotakoi where, they're in their mid-20s, early 30s, they're office workers or they're in college, something like that. But back into the story. She's not taking him seriously. He's pretty bummed out by that, but he's not giving up, but he's also not pushy or rude. So I like that about his character. And he's constantly trying to show him how he feels about her and how he's interested in her. All the other tenants in the building are like, oh, you're a loser. You don't even have a job. You're barely making it through college. They're very, very judgy group of people, and none of them are doing anything great with their lives, which is hilarious. He keeps trying, and eventually the manager lets him in, and he learns more about her. He kind of learns more about her in awkward situations, but I feel like this situation was a more natural situation that could have occurred. He finds out that she's a widow, and that every year or so, or maybe less, maybe like every few months, she goes to her late husband's grave and pays him respects. She holds on to his things and she really misses him, and she's trying to move forward with her life, but it's tough when you lose somebody that you love. So after Godai learns about that, his approach becomes softer and more sympathetic. But he doesn't feel sorry for her because he still thinks very highly of her, but he's more careful about his approach. And at first he's like, I could never compare this guy. But there's so much character growth. Instead of trying to compare, he offers her his own brand of love and dedication. So, that's one plot in the story, but there's so many other side plots that kind of make Godai's experience more difficult towards his affections towards the manager. So another antagonist that later becomes a friend, which is really cool. There's a guy, Coach Mitaka, I think that's his name. He's a tennis ball coach and very handsome, has a lot of money, and he takes a liking to the manager, and he decides, I'm gonna pursue her. And Godai is like, this guy's better than me, but I don't want to lose to him. I don't care. And I love that whole attitude. Some people would have just been like, wow, this guy's a lot of money and he's super handsome. I give up. Godai was like, nah, I'm going to keep trying because, that's just the kind of guy I am. I like that about his character. So the coach, he has a lot of money. He's handsome. The thing that separates the coach from Godai is he's not afraid to broadcast his feelings boldly. And he straight up tells her, the manager, I'm going to propose to you. I'm going to propose to you. The manager is stuck between two people, one who's kind of not reliable, but really sweet and kind and understanding, and another person who's very reliable, but also pushy and sweet in his own way, but he's very, what's the word I'm looking for? He's almost abrasive. Him knowing exactly what he wants and when he wants it puts her in a difficult position because while she's still healing and trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life and if she ever wants to get married again, on one hand, one guy is going too fast, and on the other end, Godai, the main character, is going too slow. He constantly gets sidetracked by the tenants in the building. They're always throwing parties, and they're always, filling his head up full of negativity and, reality checks as well. And his friends, trying to find jobs, trying to figure out what career he wants. He gets mixed up with, he becomes a tutor for like a high schooler, or actually a middle schooler at the time at first. And he gets paid with that. And the middle schooler takes a liking to him, and he's like, no, I like my manager. I don't want to date a kid, that's not my thing. And she's super pushy. Oh my god, her character is so annoying. Even at the end of the story, she's like, I'm not gonna give up on you. It's so annoying. She's a very annoying character. The coach is a little annoying at times, but he has so much character development that I can't really hate on him. He's awesome. He's like Vegeta. Like, he was kind of the villain, and then he became an important ally, which is really cool. It's like the best comparison I could come up with for all you Dragon Ball Z fans. This girl character kind of throws, this middle schooler, high schooler, she throws a few wrenches in Godai's plans and makes him look bad a few times as well. There is another girl that liked Godai. She went away for a while, and when Godai started getting closer to the manager, she came back out of nowhere, which was super annoying, and forced a kiss on Godai, which is also super annoying and just not cool. And the manager saw it, and she's like, the manager's very stubborn. Like, she has a lot of her own qualities that aren't, perfect. And I love that. Like, even though she's the eye of affection for both these important characters, she herself isn't a picture of perfection. So it just makes every issue in every situation that much more human, which is super cool. Where was so the other girl comes out of nowhere, she kisses him. The manager sees it, and instead of hearing Godai out, she just avoids him. And she's like, I thought he liked me. I thought he wanted to be with me. Why would he just kiss her out of nowhere? And then finally he gets the chance to explain himself, and he's like, she kissed me. I didn't even want to kiss. She tricked me. She asked him to close his eyes, and he closed his eyes, and that's when it happened. So he trusted her, and she kind of broke his trust in a way. And the manager's like, well, why are you so gullible? In that moment, she started to realize that a lot of crazy things happen to this character because it's kind of his personality. He's gullible, but that's his charm and that's his sweetness, and that kind of brings him closer in a way, in a very small, minuscule way. They gain a little bit of understanding towards each other. Godai wants to be a salaryman, and he's working really hard, and he just can't get a job. The girl that was causing a lot of the trouble, the middle schooler that became a high schooler later on in the story, she gets her dad to help Godai get an office job with a weird turn of events. And he gets an office job, and then the company goes under the next day. This guy, Godai, cannot catch a break. So many awful things happen to this character. And it makes it fun, but it keeps you like annoyed and on the edge of your seat. Like, is he gonna get through this? Is the manager gonna forgive him? Is he gonna get his stuff together? So instead of pursuing being a salaryman, the manager gives him the idea of becoming a teacher. And her late husband was also like a teacher. And she notices that even though her late husband and Godai are very different people, they have a similarity of being really kind and sweet and being really good with children. So Godai is like, if you believe in me, I'll do it. So she's pushing him. She's like, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. And he's working really hard. And you start to see the strain of the apartment building on him. Like, they have parties every other night. They're always like peeping on him and messing with him, and it makes it really hard for him to study. So he goes away for a while to study. I'll skip a lot of stuff because those are all scenes that are important, but I think it'd be better off if you read it, if you get the chance to read it. He ends up passing his test. In his mind, he thought, if I pass the test, I'm gonna propose to the manager. And at this time later in the story, he could kind of feel that the manager was into him as well, but there was so much pressure for him to get the proposal right, to get his words right, that he would have analysis paralysis. So that was the later effect of the story. You go from just not having the courage to say how you feel to being able to say how you feel, but too many words are mediocre and too many words might not have the particular effect that you want. But all in all, he passes his test and he's working on becoming a teacher and getting a good job and being able to support himself and his dream of marrying a manager. It's crazy. It's been years. Like, he's graduated college, he's gotten a job, he's working on a career, but he never forgot this woman that he fell for. And he's been trying to be a better person and to grow just to be able to be someone good in her life, which really makes this manga powerful and just a joy to read despite all the weird hiccups in the middle. I won't give you the end of the story because it was just so satisfying to read, me personally reading it. And I just read it. I finished it about 2 days ago and I absolutely loved it. I'm kicking my feet, yelling, upset, happy, just all these emotions. That's how I knew it was really well written. I believe a good piece of literature makes you feel things. And if you don't feel anything while reading it, your characters probably suck. Your plot's full of holes. There are a lot of things happening in your story that have little to no detail, and you are adding detail in parts that don't matter. This story isn't guilty of any of that. The detail was put where it needed to be. You care about what happens to the characters because you grew with the characters. You got to see the characters at their worst, at their high points. You got to truly connect with these characters like they were people you met on the street, and that's what makes this story great. I will say that the ending wrapped up really well. It was probably one of the best endings that I read in a manga in a long time. I can't say in the last year because there was a few endings that I think were a little bit better, but this one was 8.5. Very, very good. It was solid. Like, the entire manga was like an 8.5. It was just solid all the way through. With that being said, the comedy is absolutely hilarious, but I mean, some parts didn't age quite as well. Some extreme parts of the characters were a little unbelievable. It kind of takes you out of the story a little bit. That kind of added to the comedy, so I'm not going to fault this manga for that at all. The art is very old school style, and what do you expect? It was made in the 80s. And it's by Rumiko Takahashi. She has an iconic old school drawing style. You'll see elements of Mermaid Saga in it, Rama 1/2, Inuyasha. Like, a lot of her great works you'll see in this manga. You'll see where Inuyasha was inspired, and just all the art styles, the way the eyes are shaped, the hair is shaped, the way the characters talk, her comedy, everything is there that she's known for and that she does really well. So that also added to my enjoyment of the manga. Well, this is another romance manga for the month. I'm going to be reading a lot more and I can't wait to talk to you about them. If you have any romance mangas or romance novels, anything romance that you enjoy, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, it would be totally awesome if you did, if you feel like it. With that being said, I will see you in the next video. I'm super excited to talk about the next title. I've been dying to talk about this manga. It's nerdy, it's cute, it's wholesome, and it's very romantic. Until then, peace.